Hi guys, and here's a short video tour of my EAL 310 sandpit for a unit I've developed for SITHCOP 004, Planning Cost Special Dietary Requirements. This is the unit home where it starts with the introduction. I've got a small video introducing myself and the unit. About what the unit's from and how it's an amalgamation of two different units, and then a small blurb about which comes from the training package about what the unit is for. I work onto, and it also tells the starting content with the getting started. The welcome to country is the standard welcome to country used at the university. In the getting started area, I've got another little screencast going through the assessment requirements for the unit, as well as the unit structure, the three modules that it's been broken down into, and what's expected for each unit. Again, is the unit structure, a link to the unit outline, a little bio about myself, and a little bio about an industry consultant that I'll be using for some of the assessments, and then some standard introduction, which was in the template for the Milo sandpit. And then within each week, in the content area, I've got it broken down to, and with sort of the theme of that week. So week one is the unit introduction and a little bit on the revision of things that we've done in the past, the knowledge that we'll use for this particular unit. I've got some clear learning outcomes about evaluating their understanding, being able to identify special dietary requirements, and also recognising the importance of it in the industry. I've got another little video here about the assessment and writing what needs to be done. The welcome. The week's contents and activities, which include introducing ourselves, and the main task is to sort of in the discussion area sort of write down some areas where students can have to write down some things that students can't eat, and then other students have to guess what they are. I've got a little mini lecturer highlighting some of the tasks that's going to be completed this week and what needs to be done. There's some readings that need to be done from the theory notes. And then each week I've got a little quiz which you access through a third party. And you access to a third party and you add a code. Now the quiz the first week is all about the knowledge that they would have had from another unit called Prepare Food for Special Dietary Requirements, as well as some of the reading notes, the theory notes that they've had to read through here. There's going to be a web conference every week except for week one, and then there's the discussion where there's this week we'll introduce ourselves and practicing our special dietary identification skills. So when you introduce yourselves, list some foods you or someone can't eat, and when you have posted this, look at other posts lists and reply to them what you think their dietary requirement is, and there's a link straight to that discussion page. So that's week one, which is pretty light. It's more about introduction and getting to know their class, and then after that, each week there's a theme. So the first week is what is a meal plan, with the learning outcomes described, the activities that are there. Obviously, if you guys want to pause and read these as we're going, you can, just to give you a bit of an idea. There's a lecture about using seasonal food and using professional recipes. There's no reading this week, but I've got set them the task of finding out what's in season right now by accessing local fruit and vegetable wholesale markets. There's a quiz this week on seasonal food and what all the components of a main dish, of what all the components of a dish is. There's access to the web conference for this week. where they'll be meeting for the first time. We'll go through the assessment task 1, as well as introducing the tutor, Marissa Martin, who is going to be a dietitian, who is going to help with marking, be a sort of an industry engagement person who helps with the marking and making sure everything's up to scratch. And then the discussion for this week is all about sharing when you've had a really good seasonal food. So just getting them to think about and remember really good seasonal food that they've had. Week 3, we start getting into the 2 weeks are based, 1 week is based on week 3 faith-based diets. The structure of these 2 weeks are fairly similar, where there's some readings that need to be done, some learning outcomes set out, guideline to this week, contents and activities, some questions I want them to ask themselves. There's a little lecture about some of the key principles of certain faith-based diets. There's some readings that they can access and click through the links straight there. Again, another little quiz is to test themselves on their knowledge. And on the web conference and discussion, where they can interact with each other. So in the discussion board, they're going to start sharing some ideas and critiquing other people's ideas. And in the web conference, we're going to start using the ideas brought up in the discussion to build some web conferencing. And to do that, we're going to use some Google Docs so everyone can work together. I found in the past it's a good way to make sure everyone's working on it, all the documents separately. Week 4's structure is very similar to week 3, but it's a different topic. So this is about health-based diets. Again, some learning outcomes for the week, which are very similar to the last week's, but based on a different topic. The activities are very similar as well this week. I've got some key questions for them to ask themselves as they're working through it. A little mini lecture about some key principles of the health-based diets. I've got a internal link in here, as well as a link that they can go to afterwards. Again, some more reading for them to do that goes in. It's just a lot more detailed than what I went through on the lecture. A quiz is to test themselves, where they can join in on anywhere they like, and then there's a code for them to join that quiz. And then again, the discussion is about bringing in some ideas, creating some ideas to be critiqued, and some menu ideas. And in the web conference, we'll bring those ideas together to create balanced seasonal meal plans. I do want to add some more health-based YouTube videos. I just haven't quite found them, the right ones I want, yes, just for some extra content. And in week 5 is about getting assessment task 1 completed and finalising, as well as getting all the peer reviews that I want them to do with each other. There's some questions about getting them to start thinking about the costing of the dishes, as well as not being too emotionally involved in their dishes and don't take feedback too personally. My lecture is about the feedback process and how they need to submit the assessment. The readings this week are all about the costing, that next stage, Module 2. Again, there's some more testing of Module 2, seeing what they already know, working out what they already know from SithCop 002. And then the web conference this week is going to be, I'm doing it as a virtual tour. So Marissa's going to take us for a walk through the kitchens at where she works, and looking at all the different ways that they produce all the food and all the special dietary food. And then there's going to be another hour after that where I'll take last minute questions and feedback from people who need it. And then this week's discussion board is just an area to share your full completed meal plans so that they can get feedback from everyone else in the class with this assessment, Module 1 assessment during week 5. So that is pretty much it. If you want any more detail, feel free to send me an email or a question on here. Or if you want me to get Laura to add you so you can have a look at a little bit more detail as a student, feel free to contact me as well. Thank you very much for taking the time to have a look, and I look forward to hearing some of your feedback. Thank you.